on whatever your prize is and ease yourself through the resistance cycle that shows up every time you dare to dream your dream and begin to go for it. Today and all this week, we're going to be talking about the resistance cycle, what it is, what it isn't, but most importantly, I'm going to share with you the 5 unique milestones along the way on the resistance cycle where you can get bogged down and turned back to where you began instead of heading in the direction of your dream and or your goal. So we're going to start with a clean slate. Isn't that cool? Clean slate. Here's you. Here's where you live right now. Now, you want to be over here. This is your goal. That's where you want to be. And it's funny that you start out heading this way, right? But then something begins to pull you in this direction. And the harder you try to pull yourself back on track, the further you get and the further until you're going round and round and round. And at some point, you exit out and get dumped back right where you began. Now, how does that happen? Well, that's what we're going to be exploring this week. That's what I want to explore with you. And there are definitely points along the way. And we're going to be going into those points. And then I've got a master class, a webinar coming up next week. So I'll give you more information about that. Not today, but if you just can't stand it, you have to be in the master class, then DM me if you're on Instagram and comment. If you're on Facebook or LinkedIn, just comment yes or webinar, and I'll get you the link for that. But here's what I want you to know is that this happens to, I'm going to be bold and say, everyone, every single person who wants to head to this goal instead gets some turbulence. They kind of run into this little tornado here in the middle, this little tornado. So what's the answer to that tornado? Well, we're going to be talking about that too. But you know what this is like, don't you? This is like you start making progress and suddenly you start having doubts, you become uncomfortable, you may have upsets with friends or with family. Here's what used to happen to me all the time until I realized this cycle. It's a cycle. It cycles you over and over. So you never get all the way through to your goal. Now, that doesn't happen to every single person. Many people reach their goals. But if they were really honest and could remember, they would tell you about some rough spot in the middle. And by the way, maybe even some breakdowns and some setbacks, some detours, some things that took them off in other areas. Now, what we want to do is we want to learn how to go all the way through the tornado with as little muss and fuss as possible. But here's what I want you to take away today. The tornado happens. It's part of the process. It's part of the change process. It's very seldom that you buy a pair of new shoes and that they're perfectly ready to go on your feet and be completely comfortable. You have to break them in, right? It's very seldom that you go on a trip and you run into it. It turns out exactly the way you want. You never run into a detour or something you forgot or something else you need or something that's closed. I mean, this is life. Life is messy. Plus, we have this funny little mechanism that gets in there and says, oh no, you don't. This is who you are, and this is where you belong. And there's no way I'm going to let you climb out on that branch. No way. And it will do anything. Some people call this the drunk monkey. Some people call this the monkey mind. Some people call this the gremlin or the inner critic. Many of my clients call it the inner mean girl. And some of us call it the ego mechanism. It's that part that wants to keep us safe, which means it's not letting us go anywhere. Even if we start heading out, it's going to pull us back. So that's what I want you to take away today. This happens to every person, every time they change. But fortunately, there are things we can do and ways we can get around this and ways that we can ease the transition. So even if we get wobbly in the middle, we still end up right there at the goal, right where we want to be. If you want to know more about that, what to do at these 5 different points, then I want you to tune back in tomorrow when I go live. I'll be going live every day this week. Come on back. If you've got a question for me, reach out. Again, DM me, comment. I want to know your questions. I want to be speaking to what you want to know. In the meantime, take this away. See if you can't find the way it's been working in your own life. Yeah. Remember, the resistance cycle happens every single time you change, every time you choose to go for something new, choose to become someone new, have something new, do something new. The discomfort that can border on sabotage is going to show up. And it doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It just means you're changing. But I've got some things to help you ease through the change. So come on back and stay in touch. Talk to you soon. Have a great night. Bye.